everybody, my name is Belle and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a review for 10 Things I Can See From Here by Carrie Mack. Now, anyone who knows me knows that I'm a really big fan of Carrie Mack. I absolutely loved her recent book, Wildfire. It's actually one of my favorite reads. Though I didn't rate it 5 stars, it really left an impact on me, so I knew I had to pick up her other books. And when I saw this one at my bookstore, I was like, I have to read this one. I need to figure out if it's as good as Wildfire. And while I was let down in some aspects of it, it was still a very good book. Now, here's why. 10 Things I Can See From Here is a book that follows along a main character named Maeve, who is being forced to go live with her father in Canada while her mom moves to Haiti with her new boyfriend. And Maeve is kind of figuring stuff out, as a teenager usually does, but she also has to deal with her anxiety disorder, which has been causing her trouble for years. With this, I really loved how Carrie Mack put the whole book into the perspective of the anxiety disorder. You don't often see that happen with books. You see the authors kind of gloss it over, romanticize it sometimes, and maybe bring it up and sprinkle it in here and there. But Carrie Mack made the entire book about the anxiety disorder. And that's something I really loved, because when you do something like that, you're implementing a strategy to get your readers to understand a perspective they might not be used to. And for me, I actually really like that, because I also deal with an anxiety disorder, and while mine isn't on the same level as Maeve's, I get where she's coming from in some aspects of it. So, following along this book, I was really stunned by that. I loved that aspect of the book. I thought it really brought it to a new height, and I think it really did a good effort to keep the book good in the end. Something I didn't really like about this book was the lack of its content and trigger warnings. For example, we could have really used a big trigger warning for Maeve's anxiety, and while it does mention her anxiety in the synopsis, I think it would have been much appreciated if it was given us a trigger warning about just how much of it is perceived and put into the book. Another trigger warning we could have really used was mentions of suicide, mention of alcohol addiction, mentions of cheating. That's more on the content warning side of things. And then there were a few other things in here that just could have used some warning for readers who might not be fans of that, because it really does depend on what readers are looking for. And with this one, I think they definitely could have used some content and trigger warnings in this, and unfortunately, they did not implement that at all. Something that I was a little bit iffy on, back and forth kind of deal, was the character development in this book. I feel like there could have been a lot more character development than what was given to us, especially with Maeve's character. It took a while for her to actually kind of get into that character development that I was looking for, in which a character kind of just, they don't necessarily get their happy ending, but they realize that not everything is as they think it is, and not everything has to be the way they're making it out to be. And for Maeve, I feel like she got a little bit to that point, but not to the point where it left us feeling satisfied. I feel like more so the ending was kind of wrapped up in a happy little bow and perceived as, hey, everything's okay in the end. And I was like, well, that's nice and all, that's not what I'm looking for. And it kind of let me down in that aspect. With Salix, who is Maeve's love interest in this book, I feel like she was just kind of one of those characters that is used to describe what's going on. And by that, I mean, Salix's character is kind of portrayed as a means of disruption and Maeve's anxiety. It's kind of like, in terms of comparison almost, she was the kickstand that stopped the bike from falling over. I mentioned that in my full Goodreads review, and the review that will be available on my blog as well. And I feel like Salix's character definitely could have had more character development. She definitely could have been written better. We weren't given a lot with her. She was mainly just there for Maeve. She was just kind of giving her everything and putting the most effort into their relationship. And I feel like with a teen relationship, there's definitely going to be faults. There's definitely going to be inconsistencies. But what we were given was kind of just like a one shot almost. It was like a one size fits all and it's all good. And I was like, oh, that's not really what the story could have used though. So Unfortunately, it didn't go the way I planned with it, but I was okay with it, but it wasn't my favorite. Lastly, I wasn't a big fan, and I forgot to mention this earlier in the trigger warnings, but Maeve does experience a scene with sexual assault from one of her friends in the past, and it is brought up last minute at the end of the book. I feel I don't know how to put this into the right words. I feel like she just kind of brushed it off. And she does mention that she didn't realize it was what had happened to her. But then when she does come to terms with it, she's just kind of like, oh, well, it happened. And I'm moving on and I want to become friends with this person again. And I feel like it was kind of glossed over in that aspect. Like the author did very well not glossing over her anxiety disorder or any other mental health that was brought up in this book. But when it came to that aspect with that sexual assault scene, it was definitely glossed over in my opinion. And I wasn't a big fan of how it was dealt with. For that, I really did enjoy this book. I think the writing was good. I think though the character development wasn't the greatest, we were given something that was okay. And all in all, I think this book really shows how much Carrie Mack has developed her writing over the time because Wildfire was out of this world good. I gave it 4.75 stars. This one, I gave 3.75 stars. So I liked it, but it wasn't a favorite. And for that, I hope that when I read her next book, it'll also showcase just how much she has improved as a writer because Wildfire definitely showed that in comparison to this one. So I can't wait to see what Carrie Mack comes out with next. And that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know down below in the comments what you thought of my review. I will also leave the links in the description to my full review on Goodreads and my blog when it is available. And I hope that everyone enjoys it because I know I really enjoyed reading this book and I really enjoyed writing my review for it. So without further ado, thank you all for watching so much again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye everybody!